Goedemiddag.
Guten Morgen.
Yeah. So, how's it going?
It's everything's ready. The stream is running already. The countdown is at 1.5 minutes, so
Yeah.
perfect timing.
And cool, awesome that you've been able to find another force presenter.
Yes.
So basically, then it's in a minute. I get started. Welcome. Blah 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 blah. Correct.
Yes.
And then I said we have four distinguished speakers. Happy to get their perspectives today. Thanks for taking the time, Lorena, and blah 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 blah. I will go through the speakers. Then I get started. I will try to short it down to 12, 13.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the European Marketing Agenda 2023 webinar. On your screen, you see Ralf Strauss, chairman of the EMC. He will be your host today, and he will give a lovely presentation about the findings of the European Marketing Agenda and have some really nice talks with all our special guests that we have on today. Ralf, you could introduce yourself.
Thanks, Dennett, first of all, for organizing this webinar today. My name is Ralf Strauss. I spent something like 20 years in corporate organizations, and now for the last 10 years, I have had the pleasure to be the president of the German Marketing Association, and for the last 2 years, I'm the president and chairman of the board of the European Marketing Confederation, where major marketing associations in Europe are coming together in terms of exchanging best practices, defining, for example, criteria for certification, for training, and stuff like that. So, and in this way, we also established, I guess, over the last 3 or 4 years, the European Marketing Agenda. So every year in November timeframe, the beginning of November until mid of November, we asked something like 6,000 marketing professionals across Europe on their perspectives, their major topics, their major challenges for the year to come. So, and basically, I'm trying to understand what is most important for you, what is driving you around, what keeps you awake at night, and what are the challenges, what are the barriers you see in front of yourselves. And so, and we have two objectives basically. Number one, to find out the content. Number two, also to see, are there any differences between the different countries, between the Netherlands, Germany, Lithuania, UK, or Spain, for example, just in order to find out, can we learn something of it? For example, are developments in Ireland different to Germany, and what can the Germans learn about it? Or is Spain more ahead in certain areas, and what can we learn about it? So it's a wide mixture of really understanding major topic areas and challenges on the one hand side, and on the other side also trying to learn and explore best practices across Europe. And saying this, I'm happy that we have a bunch of distinguished speakers today with us. So thanks, Dennis, as I said, for the organization. And I do think we can welcome colleagues from different countries, which is extremely nice. In particular, starting with Spain, that we have on the one hand side Lorena with us. Lorena Mercedes is CMO of Salesforce in in Spain. On the second side, we do have Regimantas Urbanas from Surfshark from Lithuania, a startup which is extremely successful. We have Winfried Lechner from Wienerberger, producing construction material in Austria. And last but not the least, we have Christoph Wurman with us, who is the CMO of Deutsche Bank in the UK. So different organizations, different industry segments, different professions, different countries. Let's see what their challenges will be.
Yes. I think before we dive in, I would like to highlight one thing. Next week, on May 27th, we celebrate the International Day of Marketing. This is something that EMC will be doing for the first time. And we're really planning on making this a really nice day for marketers worldwide. We will start on May 27th in Lithuania. We'll have a very nice celebration there. And I think one of the highlights is the introduction of Dr. Philip Kotler as the first honoree of this new marketing award. So this is something we're really looking forward to celebrate with all of you in the coming weeks. Do you have any further remarks before we start your presentation, Ralf?
No further remarks. Thanks for also mentioning the International Day of Marketing. I do think it's important, particularly since every profession has some sort of specific day over the year, that we also have been able to establish the International Day of Marketing then across Europe, come together and really highlight certain topics and or certain personalities. And as you said, Dennis, we get started with Philip Kotler. And I guess if there's one person on this planet who really had a major footprint on the whole notion of marketers, marketing, then it's Philip Kotler. So happy to be able to celebrate it. And I guess the day is also his birthday, as you said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Now let's get started probably before we pass over then the stick to our colleagues from different countries. So the objective is at the beginning, there's a short intro. I will give you a short introduction into what are the major results out of the European Marketing Agenda 2023. Dennis, if you could come up with the charts.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot see the there on the stream. Hold on.
Here we go.
Yes. Do you see the screen right now?
No charts are shown.
Okay. It should already be on. So that's really weird.
Yes, here we go. As I said at the beginning, we are now conducting, in 2023, we've been conducting the study on the European Marketing Agenda for the fourth time in a row. And we all in all have had 6,000 senior marketing professionals within the survey. If you go one chart down. So our objective is really 6,000 marketing professionals have been in the survey. And all in all, we are pretty happy on that. Almost 800 completed the questionnaire. So we have a good foundation. Out of 6,000, almost 800 have been given their statements, which is very nice for us. And it's a good indication also that all the senior executives in marketing value and appreciate that we're doing the survey on a yearly basis. Dennis, if you go one step downwards. What are the major findings? Finding number one. So what are the 10 most important topic areas across Europe? So still, and this has been the case also over the last years, digital marketing, everything which is associated to digital marketing is still top of mind for everybody. And this year, and specifically customer experience management, leading the top 10. And, which was pretty astonishing for myself, is artificial intelligence was not on the top 10 list. Nobody out of 6,000 or 800 who responded said that artificial intelligence would be on the top 3 items for 2023. None of them. There might be different elements with it. Number one, they're still all struggling with the consolidation of data. So why should you use AI? Why you don't have consolidated your data? So that's hardly make any sense. Number two, the whole discussion of chatbot and the new wave of artificial intelligence came directly after we conducted the survey. So it might be that AI has not been on the list at the end of last year, but now it's been jumping on the upper ranks from one moment to the other. What's interesting for me, it's again customer experience management. And sometimes we also had some sort of one-on-one interviews on top of the quantitative survey, asking people to say, okay, what do you understand with customer experience management? What is it? Is it just CRM as we had for the last 20, 30 years, or is it something new? And the funny thing is everybody's using the phrase, but only a small portion was able to really do what they do understand with customer experience management. Number three, what's all on their mind is marketing spend optimization. And if there's one force to drive everybody into marketing spend optimization, then it's inflation, it's a recession, it's a war in Ukraine. So everybody's trying to get most out of their budgets using marketing spend optimization. I personally thought that marketing spend optimization is a pretty old topic, which nobody's interested in anymore. On the contrary, it's still relevant, and the worse the economy goes, the more importance marketing spend optimization gets. And last but not least, which I find pretty interesting, is brand strategy and management. So it's an oldie but goldie, and brand strategy management across the different countries is seen in a different way. But even if we all think marketing would go into digital over the years, still you need to have brand strategy and management. So it's not one or the other, but it's always an and connection between those topics. And all of what we've seen in the one-on-one interviews, the major challenge for all the companies, for all the CMOs across Europe is you cannot do one of those things and forget about the others, but it's always a combination. So within your existing organizations, within your existing headcounts, you need to balance and work on a whole different portfolio of different topics. Makes it more complex. And one of the CMOs said, Ralf, we don't get more personnel on board, we don't get more headcount, but basically what we need to do is, in a nutshell, manage different topics, a broader variety of different topics, pretty much within the same headcount. And this makes this difficult for us. If you go one down, there's been, Dennis? Yes, there's been sustainability and market understanding gain importance also in comparison to 2022. So it's always good. So we can not only differentiate and compare between the different countries, but also we can make analysis between the different years. So while a couple of topics getting lower importance, the market analytics and specifically content marketing optimization is not so important in 2023 as in 2022. But sustainability, market consumer research, and specifically loyalty retention programs are getting headwinds. Loyalty also, in the majority of cases, hand in hand with customer experience. So all retailer companies, B2C companies, the majority of those guys are looking for loyalty programs, in the majority of cases combined with an own app. Getting away from multi-user or multi-client loyalty programs, everybody building up their own loyalty program. I personally thought that loyalty programs is pretty old. So I guess we've been talking about loyalty programs some 15 years ago, but now loyalty programs are getting more and more traction in those markets. So some topics develop further, the others are falling back, but sustainability strategy is getting an all-time high over the last years. Dennis, if you go one chart down. Oldie but goldie, I phrase it that way. And why is CRM? So CRM is currently, CRM in the notion also with customer experience management is getting more and more traction in the market, but it's being perceived as pretty complex. And why is that? So although besides the quantitative surveys, we had some one-on-one chats with a bunch of colleagues across Europe. Why is CRM so complex or customer experience management? So number one is processes are unclear. If you love it or not, if you like it or not, still we have issues with our processes. And sometimes the subject matter experts, I always call it the go-to man or go-to woman, are hard to find. It's missing, or the knowledge of detailed processes only located within some employees. And those guys are pretty often are already allocated and completely overwhelmed with different projects already going on. You have conflicts between processes, use cases, and how we derive IT application requirements for IT applications out of that. So it's basically managing the interface between business area and IT. You need experienced project leads for that. And sometimes projects are overloaded with over-complex cross-functional projects, insufficient support from top management, and as I said before, lack of experienced project leaders. Sometimes you need just not people just saying always yes, 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 yes. We can incorporate it in this CRM project, but you need people to say no. No, this is not in scope. Let's stay within the scope. Let's develop an MVP, but let's not overload the MVP direct from the start with a ton of requirements. And it's also what we came back with is the insufficient functional coverage of existing CRM installations. So sometimes CRM installations, even if they're nice, good looking, do not cover really my requirements. It cannot be adopted to my specific needs, or also companies complain about the insufficient consolidation of customer data. Again, my mother would have said, do your homework first, son. Again, pretty often companies have not yet been able to consolidate customer data. And Dennis, to be honest with you, this is a topic we've been discussing for the last 25 years. This is nothing new at all. So still the backlog in topics in marketing is pretty high. Cleaning up what we have not done the years before, plus the new topics are coming on top, like artificial intelligence, like new functionalities in MarTech and stuff like that. So basically, probably it's never been more interesting to work in a marketing profession as of today. If you go one chart down, Dennis, we also do see that there are differences between the different countries, as I said. So where all pretty often have digital marketing in total top of mind. This is Ireland, for example, having sustainability strategy and customer experience management on top, and or Netherlands or Slovenia have brand strategy and management directly under digital marketing. From my perspective, which is interesting, also from a German perspective, for to learn. Number one, for example, Lithuania is far more advanced in comparison to Germany when it comes to digital marketing. And so they put brand strategy and management directly on topic number 3. So the more advanced you are in digital, the more you put, again, an emphasis on brand management and brand strategy. Lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, if I now compare, for example, Germany with Ireland and the Netherlands, Ireland and Netherlands less complain about the lack of experienced persons in comparison to Germany, because they have already established ways, means, training facilities, training programs in terms of recruiting and developing sufficient number of employees with the right way of knowledge. So it's interesting to see how different countries, even if they sometimes have the same agenda, they have the same topics to be addressed. Sometimes the prioritization they put on the items they're looking for is pretty different. Dennis, if you go one down. We also asked them if we now look into the political and economical turbulences. The question is anything changing for you? So we asked them, what's your strategic focus in marketing in Europe in 2023 in the light of political and economic turbulences? I thought, well, we would be cutting down on spendings, we would focus on performance marketing, lower funnel, new development, new sales channels. No. Hand in hand with having the focus on digitalization of marketing overall, the main focus is on marketing tech, really get the right tool set in place in terms of going further down the Via Dolorosa to data-driven marketing. And number 2 is focusing on marketing operations. So how can I streamline my operations, my processes, my know-how, my staff, my organizational setup, my processes overall, in terms of being efficient and effective when it comes to the execution of activities. So it all goes, it's less fancy stuff. It's more sort of the economic turbulences more create a push further down on tools as well as operational stuff. Dennis, if you want to go one down. The major challenge, I said it already at the beginning, we thought, well, what is the major challenge? Since, as we said already before, the whole notion of getting all customer data together is absolutely nothing new. So what is hindering you guys from being successful or making the next step? Still, it is for more than 30%, they directly say, the majority says, it's still the consolidation and quality of distributed customer data. We have it, and some airlines said, we have customer data distributed across 14 to 16 different data warehouses. Holy shit, how can we get all the data together? And number two is, we already had before, it's how do we get employees with relevant experiences? So where do I get them from? Since, as I said before, I will have to stay in the same headcount, or better, even shrinking headcounts, but still need to build up some sort of new way of professionalism, new way of know-how, which I can use. And plus, hand in hand, going with customer experiences across all touch points. So I'm working on 3-4 different angles in parallel, consolidating data, getting MarTech in place, finding new competencies, new know-how, and managing a whole variety of different touch points. And in particular, then at the end, also hopefully being able to manage the interface between business and IT, using application scenarios, doing requirements engineering and stuff like that. So for me as a marketing professional, my profession gets even more exciting. It's not only one thing, but it's a whole bunch of different things in one row, which makes it exciting for us. But let's hear what Lorena is going to say in a minute, how she addresses all these challenges. Good morning, Lorena. Nice to have you with us.
Good morning, Ralf. A pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you very much. Dennis, if you go one chart down. And this is also already my last chart. Yes. So when marketing comes to a point, basically, as said, we have a whole variety of different topics. Go into digital marketing, find new competency, get new know-how to the table, consolidate your data, find MarTech, focus on brand strategy, focus on the customer experience, focus on the customer journey. So it's all coming together. And Lorena, we are really glad to hear from your side, a perspective to say, how do you manage it? So these are 5, 6, 7, 8 major topics in a row, which you need to balance, manage in a row, which is almost impossible, giving also most probably headcount constraints. And while you will not be able to hire just 100% more employees coming to you and join you, plus also finding those guys in the market, that's a different story. So how do you manage all these challenges? So thanks, Lorena, for joining as a CMO of Salesforce in Spain. Stage is yours, and we are completely excited, number one, that you're here, and also to hear from your perspective on how do you manage that. Thank you.
Amazing, Ralf. I have to say it's a very passionate topic. And well, all the marketers now that are facing these challenges, we have, I will say, an amazing opportunity in front of us. So, well, I'm going to tell you a bit about how we are doing now in Salesforce and more in here in Iberia. I'm covering Spain and Portugal in Salesforce since almost 4 years ago. Well, I think I don't need to introduce too much about my company, but anyway, I want to say something about it just in case that we have any audience that don't know so much about Salesforce. Well, we like to say that we are the customer company. And this is very related to what you were mentioning before, Ralf, because what is a customer company? What we do is that we help our clients to connect in completely different way with their clients. Okay, so we allow them to look at the data through the best CRM platform, best-in-class applications through sales, marketing, e-commerce, Slack, and service. And what I feel super proud of is our philanthropic model. And this is very important in the terms of marketing because, clients now and customers, they are looking at the companies not only for the products and services that they are bringing, they are also looking at the brands for the values that they have. And in our case, in Salesforce, we have this one-to-one model in which we give 1% of our time, 1% of our products, and 1% of our profit to the community. And this is very important because we are not only selling products and services, we are giving to the community. I don't know, Denis, when you are sharing the presentation, or should I do it on my own?
You can share the presentation yourself. That's easiest.
Yeah. Okay. So let me see. Just give me 1 second. Okay, let me know when you see it.
There we go. I see.
Yes, here it goes. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, and with this amazing topic, I want to share, you were sharing some data, and when I was looking in this chance to speak with you, I was thinking, okay, what is better than also share what we are doing based in data, okay? And then I've been looking into our flagship report, that is a step of marketing. This is the 8th edition. And I love this figure here that I'm sharing just right now with you. That's 87% of marketers say their work provides more value than it did a year ago. And as you were saying, Ralf, we are going through a lot of changes in terms of jobs, in terms of challenges in the supply chain, turbulence, economic turbulence. But still, the marketers, no matter what, we can go with all these punches and we can create value. And even if I look more deeply in my case in Spain, most all the marketers, they think this year we have to do more with less. So the marketing budgets have been impacted. And still, we think that we are creating more value in the companies. 76% of the marketers believe that satisfying the customers, the clients, is much more difficult now. But we believe that marketing now is more important than ever. This comes to this slide where, because the customers are changing, we don't have a physical, or we don't have a digital customer, we have a hybrid client. And a client that at the end is looking for a global experience, no matter the channel. So it's looking for an omni-channel experience. And what is happening now is that the marketer is being measured by the priorities that the CEOs have in the company. So let's say we have this customer satisfaction, loyalty of the clients, revenue growth, sales impact, and quick adaptability. And all of this is possible. We have technology because it's allowing us to have data and to measure what it works and what it doesn't. It was, for me, it was like a long time ago. It was not really so long time ago, but it looks like it was really long time ago, where the marketers didn't know what happened with their budget. And they were thinking, okay, 50% of my budget is lost, and I don't know in what. No, it's impossible to think like that. Okay, like a marketer, we base our job in data, and we know that we are looking and working in a transversal way in the whole company. And how is that? Because now when a project comes to a company, it's not touching one of the departments, it's touching all the departments. So let's say, for example, a retailer, e-commerce retailer, and has a promotion for the Black Friday, and is having issues with the logistic part, and with the button of clicking, like changing the location or changing the time where the product needs to be delivered. This is impacting impacting directly the marketing department, is impacting directly the loyalty of the customers. Let's say, for example, a client that in social media has a bad experience with a company and is creating like, a bad comment about the company. And at the same time, the marketing department is sending emails to that client promoting a new product. The marketing department should be in contact with the service department, try to solve that problem, and then after that can start again sending emails to that client. So marketing now, it's very aligned with all the department, with service, with of course with the CEO, with the logistics, with HR, with all the departments, but also of course externally with the consumers, with the clients, with the channels, and in a global way with the society and with the environment. I'm going to share with you later a campaign, and we are going to see how the clients now, they are willing more to pay for those companies that are more aligned with their values. In terms of what kind of consequence has this in the marketing departments, let's say that the marketer is now a new animal, is a new marketer, because before it used to be like, okay, you need to listen, you need to communicate, you must be empathic, but now you must know about what is going on with your data. You must take decisions, so you need to have data analytics skills. You need to know about AI and machine learning and marketing automation and CRM. I mean, this is a basic. And we find that 60% of the companies, they say that they have problems to find this kind of digital skills in the talent. And well, I'm sharing with you an example that we have now in place in Salesforce. This is a European, it's along all the countries. And well, we have a tool that is Trailhead. It's completely free, so you can go and take the courses if you want. So here we have a path to get all the marketing departments completely trained in the new digital skills. So all of us, we need to become rangers and to have the digital skills that are required today with our job. One of the challenges that we are seeing now is how do we collaborate? I mean, we need to talk with all the departments. We need to have this data to understand the customer, but also how do we collaborate between each other? It's been difficult for many of the marketers because we were before completely in the digital world. With the pandemic, now we are back to the offices, and now we have to mix between both. And well, the marketers say 69%, they say that it's hard for them to collaborate. Let's say in our case, we are using a Slack, that is our productivity tool. And we use it since we have all the documents and everything in. And every time we have a meeting, we have this Slack and we put the document in the tool. So we can have physical meetings, we can have web conference, and then everything comes united in a Slack. And just last but not least, I want to speak about values. I think values is the new start for the marketers. As I mentioned before, as a consumer, we are willing to pay more for those brands that are answering, or they are more aligned with our values, what we think is good for the society, what we think is good for the environment. So marketing is not only about creating products or creating services, it's also about telling stories and about bringing values and trying to understand the values also. And I have here an example of a campaign that we put in place that was in US. It was a TV spot with Matthew McConaughey. And well, it was a challenge that was between the Winter Olympics of 22. We didn't know what it was going to happen with this campaign and what kind of impact we were going to have. But it's amazing the results we had, like 30% of increase in organic search, 80% increase in employees' pride, social conversation increased by 5, and of course increased the innate awareness. So what I have to say is facing a lot of challenges, but also a lot of opportunities, and more than ever, marketing is a passionate position to be. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Lorena. So the core question is, how do you in your role manage this? So a whole variety of different topics. And certainly you will not be able to just to increase your headcounts, yeah? And how do you focus? How do you balance this variety of different elements? Sustainability, having digital marketing rangers, as you phrased it, looking at the customer journey, having new tools, new channels for customer engagements, further expanding the skill set, know-how of your team. How do you manage that? Multitasking or?
Well, it's well known that multitasking is not the best way. We are learning to not do multitasking. So first of all, data, okay? Priorities and KPIs. So we have as a marketing department, we have our KPIs aligned with our country leader. And in this case, in the case of Salesforce, what we are measured on is in terms of marketing pipeline and also in marketing ACV. That is what is close thanks to marketing influence or initiated. So we know what do we need to achieve. Okay, so we have clear, and then coming from that, we have a mixed marketing, and we have the right tools to put that in place, understanding the customers, understanding the right message for them, understanding these customer success. This is super important for us because what we do is we try to delight our customers. This has to be completely, and at the end of the day, we belong to an international team. And we are really, really connected to this international team, as I told you, through all the tools that we use. And I will say that bringing this mix between right digital skills, right tools, having very clear our KPIs, that's what makes the difference.
Cool. And how do you further enhance the know-how, the knowledge base of your team? Do you permanently send them on trainings, or since it's not, at least I assume it's not possible for you just to hire new guys, new competency, data science, and getting new people on board? How do you enhance the know-how set within your team over time?
Well, first of all, the company is changing constantly. We are in a world that is changing daily. So the marketers also, as we saw before, we need to quick adapt to those changes. We have different roles within the team, and they are aligned with our main objectives. In our case, let's say we are working aligned with the sales organization by industry and by products. So we have some people that are aligned with those products and those industries. And then we have cross functions, like it could be digital functions, content functions, analyst functions, data functions, events functions. So we have a mix of people, and what responds really to one of our values, that is like equality. We really believe that when we have a mix of people in terms of gender, in terms of knowledge, we bring more value and we all win. And that's the way we work here.
Cool. Thank you very much. Awesome. Thanks for your presentation, and thanks for all the insights you've been sharing, Lorena. Thank you very much indeed.
You're very welcome, Ralf.
From you, from Spain, from Salesforce as an IT application company, we will just put the focus to another company, and I would like to get Wilfried Lechner on board. Wilfried is the head of marketing at Wienerberger from Austria, a giant in prefab construction materials with over 19,000 employees and 200 factories worldwide. So from IT industry in Spain, go to Austria, and having somebody really working in the construction area and see how he's managing his challenges there. So Winfried, we are happy to have you on board and very curious to see which sort of challenges are you having in Austria within Wienerberger, and how do you manage it basically? As I said at the beginning, managing the whole variety of different aspects, data science, new channels, new interaction methods, new competencies, know-how being necessary, new customer journeys. So a wholeheartedly warm welcome. Thanks for joining. And we are crazy all looking for, what are your perspectives? How do you manage it, this crazy world?
Well, thank you, Ralf, for your nice and introduction. A warm welcome from rainy Vienna. I will share my presentation as well as Lorena did. So hopefully you can see the presentation.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So thank you very much again for invitation. Yeah, let's talk about Wienerberger. Maybe not all of you know the company. Wienerberger is the world's biggest brick manufacturer. We employ more than 90,000 people in 27 countries. We are very strong in Europe, in Eastern and Western Europe. We also are the biggest brick manufacturer in Northern America, since we bought a big company called Meridian Bricks a couple of years ago, and we also have subsidiaries in India. The last year was the record year for Wienerberger. We had a turnaround of more than 5 billion euros. It was really amazing figures, and it was achieved in more than 200 plants all over the planet, where the people in the plants and the people in sales and marketing and all other departments working in 3 different business areas. The first business area is all about the building envelope, about the roof tiles, about wall bricks, about brick slips, and about pavers. And the second big area, it's the combined area, it's the water and energy management and infrastructure solutions under a brand called Pipelife. And all these 19,000 employees have one big goal. We want to improve the people's quality and make it comfortable to live in the houses, in their flats. And we want to offer sustainable solutions for new build, for renovation, and also for all the infrastructure topics. Ralf, you just mentioned before the importance of sustainability and the growth of sustainability, and I will focus on this topic today because Wienerberger has a very ambitious sustainability program, not only placed in 2023. We are working in this topic years ago, but at the moment we have 3 pillars in our sustainability program. The first pillar is everything about circular economy. There is the big goal that all of our products who will be launched in 2023 or have been launched in the last couple of months are 100% renewable or reusable. The second big pillar is decarbonization, and this is a very tough goal because, as you maybe know, Wienerberger is producing brick slips and wall bricks, and we need gas, so it's a gas-intensive production. And the goal is that we can reduce CO2 emissions in our production plants by 15% by the end of 2023 compared to 2020. And if we look in the near future, we want to reduce CO2 emissions by minus 40% by 2030. And the third pillar is biodiversity. I'm also responsible for biodiversity in Austria, at Wienerberger Austria. So we want to set up biodiversity plans in all the plants, in all 217 plants all over the world by the end of 2023. At the moment, we're just working on biodiversity mappings, and we are looking for biodiversity ambassadors who can join us. So these are the goals in our sustainability program. And all of the companies all over the world are facing new challenges. And this also is a big thing for Wienerberger and other building construction companies and building material companies. You have mentioned it before. We had big challenges the last 2-3 years. First of all, to deal with Corona crisis. Then there was the Ukraine, or still is the Ukraine crisis, and the following energy problems. we had a really overheated market in the last year. Sometimes we do not have or did not have
Wilfried, I don't know if you can hear us, but you seem to be muted. Can you check?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is better. This is
So-
better. So I think we missed the last minute from you. I'm sorry.
No,
Which slide did you hear? The last?
You were just finished talking about the Ukraine crisis, or just talking about that?
Ukraine. Okay. Ukraine crisis. So it should work now. Can you hear me still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we have to deal with all this crisis in the last couple of years. So as I mentioned before, Ukraine crisis and energy crisis. Now there's a new problem for the construction business. It's all about the financial things. So about the new inflation problems, about loans. People do not have enough money to buy or build new houses, to buy their flats. So this is a new topic coming to us. And on the second hand, there is a big demand from building companies, from merchant, as well from B2C customers regarding sustainable products, green products. But it has to be clear that it's not for free. Sustainability has its price because, as I mentioned before, Wienerberger is a gas-intensive company. We need gas to produce our bricks. And it's not easy just to switch, for example, from gas to eco-friendly electricity. So it has its price. So for our company, but also for other companies in the building industry, there was a big shift. It's a mindset, a change in the mindset. We need a different approach in branding our products, branding our solutions, and it also has to tackle, to cover the strategy of the company. So there are not only external challenges, but also internal challenges because, as I mentioned before, the big thing is sustainability. But you have to deal with the company goals and the company strategy, as well with the customer demands. And this doesn't cover all the time. The thing is that not all of the customers are really interested in sustainability. It's not relevant for all of them. And so you have to divide even more granular between the architect who is into sustainability and the architect who just built the house in a much cheaper way. To divide between the end customer and between the merchant, between the building construction company, between the roofer. It's even more complex in the last couple of months. And it's obvious that when there is less money, the people do have less interest in buying sustainable products. That can be vegetable, chocolate, this can be clothing, and this can be also building materials. And we are at the moment at a very small way on a razor blade. It's the danger of greenwashing or no greenwashing. We launched a product in 2029. It was the first climate neutral wall brick. But with my knowledge of this year, I would never had launched this product under these marketing perspectives because looking back 4 years, it's now kind of greenwashing. So the customers, the B2C and B2B customers are very sensitive. They need a proof of concept, they need some data, some figures about the products, not only about the technical issues, but also about how the products are built, where they come from, how many kilometers they travel from the production plant to their houses. So we have to deal with all these topics. And I decided for my team that they need knowledge about sustainability. And some of them attended an academy called the Climate Ranger Academy, here based in Austria, and they became a climate ranger. So they know a little bit about greenwashing, about climate change, about CO2 emissions. So they have a much more knowledge as the customer. And how that did Wienerberger does Wienerberger deal with these challenges now and in the future? It's clear that we need to work even closer with our different departments, beginning from product management to production, and also the sales team. So we need to exchange all the experience regarding sustainability that we in the marketing team can market and promote all these products and solutions. Therefore, we established an own Team Green, which is led by me, and it's a very good group of people from different kind of departments. And in this Team Green, all the information from different departments run together, and we communicate and market the implementation of our sustainability solutions and sustainable products. We also did and will do very close exchange with all our industry partners, from merchants on to even competitors, because we all have the same problem. We have to deal with new challenges regarding sustainability, and there is the motto, "You are not alone." And what we did in the last couple of months, we challenged each of our activities if there is a possibility to do it in a more sustainable way. So if for example, if we can buy more sustainable merchandising products, if we can do our events in a more eco-friendly way, if we even can print our brochures in a more efficient way. And this is also a big challenge for our procurement and for marketing. And one thing I've learned in the last half, maybe 1 year, when we did interviews with new talents, we always told them about our sustainability goals and activities. And when some of them signed the contracts, it was clear when we asked them after the main decision point why they joined Wienerberger, they made it clear that they wouldn't have joined Wienerberger if we wouldn't have this sustainable product program, this clear goal to improve and to make the people's life more comfortable in a sustainable way. So it's not only about promoting sustainable products, it's also about taking care how we can deliver our impact to employer branding and to our human resources team. So these are complete different challenges if we compare it to Lorena. But I hope I can give you an overview about the challenges Wienerberger and some other companies in the building construction deal in at the moment and maybe in the future. And yeah, I'm open for all of the questions. This is our main goal, that we care for a better tomorrow. And these are the our trust, respect, passion, and creativity. These are the core values of Wienerberger. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Winfried. Thanks for giving the presentation. A question directly to you is, we talked at the beginning about all the challenges laying in front of ourselves. Yeah? Consolidation of data, finding the right skill set of personnel. How are you doing this? Do you sit in Vienna, Wienerberger, so directly go to the university in Vienna and directly get the right skill set also from university, or how do you manage it? In particularly, I guess your team then is distributed across the globe. So it's not just one location, but you need to find some sort of balance across the globe on different competencies. How do you manage that?
Yeah, it's a really complicated topic because when you look at the different skills from marketing teams, you have to make sure that there is even one person in each country who has a sustainable background or who wants to train all the sustainable things. So as I mentioned before, there is the Climate Ranger Academy in Austria. There are different other academies where the people can be trained in this topic. And we have a strong collaboration with our ESG department, where there are biologists, there are scientists, and we all do this biodiversity action plans together with them, so we can learn from them. And it's a continuous learning, not only about digital marketing, about brand values, but also now at the moment about sustainability. And it is such a big topic. I have learned so much about birds, bees, and butterflies I have never learned in school before. So yeah, it's a continuous improvement.
Okay, and how, since also challenge in the European marketing agenda was consolidation of data. How do you do that at Wienerberger? Yeah? You're getting the customer data all over the place. Here you have sales reps out on the field. You have customer interaction in the call center, customer service, wherever on the website. How do you do customer data consolidations then at Wienerberger? Have you solved it in a proper way that you said, yes, everything singing and dancing, or you say, well, for Wienerberger, this is all the sum of our construction areas?
So this is part of the construction area. As you mentioned in your slides before at the start, we are facing the same topics, that we are collecting a lot of data. But yeah, it's always a topic between sales and marketing, how the data we collected and we try to enrich with some other information can be handed over to sales again, and they can close the deal. Yeah, we're working with marketing clouds a couple of years ago, and it's still running. Yeah, we try to collect data about through gamification, through different other I don't know, digital fairs, webinars. We have an own academy, so we collect all the data. And at the moment, if the business is not running in the right way, everybody's focused on getting all this data. So for our point, it's not. It's a good time to bring the sales team in shape and to work with this data. So yeah, even something worse can be good.
Okay, thanks a lot, Wilfried. Thanks a lot for these insights into how you work at Wienerberger. Pretty amazing, particularly your sustainability strategy and all the efforts being put into sustainability. And saying this, I would just like to pass over the candlestick to our next colleague. Thanks, Christoph Wörmann, and joining from lovely London as the CMO of corporate banking in Deutsche Bank. And so we have had Lorena from Salesforce in Spain, Wilfried from Wienerberger in Austria, now going over to the Brexit country, to London. And how is corporate banking now, and the CMO of corporate banking in the UK, and what are your challenges, and how do you manage it? Or you say, I don't have problems anymore. Brexit is in place, so I don't have any problems anymore. Welcome, Christoph.
Hello, Ralf, and thank you very much for having me. I hope that someone will share the presentation that the CM has given me, because you're talking about Brexit. I have straight away a problem to log in to Teams this morning, so no problem. No day without a challenge. So
yeah, Dennis should have the presentation. Dennis,
yes, I have it up right now, so I'll.
Wonderful, and maybe just a short information to everyone here. Brexit is, of course, something that the UK has to deal with first and swallow the effects. But in the financial service sector, I think the preparation have been extremely professional. And of course, there are pockets of the financial service sectors that move somewhere, but I don't think that London, particularly as a global financial hub, is so much affected. So for me, in Deutsche Bank's corporate bank, for those here on the call, so I'm responsible for everything that is not retail banking. So everything related to corporate clients, larger multinational clients, institutional investor, banks, and stuff. So our marketing here, and in particular in my responsibility, is much about educational marketing, content marketing. And this is actually something that sparked me also presenting here the findings of the Chartered Institute of Marketing from their CMO 75 report and the digital benchmark report, because a lot, not everything, but a lot is also very relatable to the financial service industry in business-to-business marketing. So if I may start, Ralf, with the first slide, then I'd like to use the next 15 minutes to talk you all through just general trends. And I don't think that anything that I'm going to say here is for all of you here big news. I was very interested in hearing what Wilfried says, because it, across all industries, we share same challenges, so to say. So let's start first with the whole AI, data, marketing technology, and challenges in terms of, what are the skill sets needed? So I can only tell you from my personal experience over the last 30 years, of which 20 years I've spent in marketing-related roles. Marketing has completely changed in terms of the skills, because you see now, and it has shown very, very dramatically over the course of the pandemic, suddenly there was just the digital channel that we all had to serve right now, which means that if you weren't really digitally set up, you would have had a major problem talking to your customers over the course of the pandemic. Over the course of the pandemic, it also showed that content marketing was really, really important, because suddenly there was this massive battle for eyeballs everywhere, where you call yourself lucky if you had a good not only opening but click-through rates, because everybody was trying to communicate via digital channels. So it's not surprising that the general marketing skills showed sort of an uplift over that course, because you needed people who were very quickly, pragmatically changing tag, using just a digital channel, use digital new ways of event marketing. You see all this kind of just online marketing, and people predicting, in the future it will be a lot of hybrid stuff going on. So physical events will always be supplemented with hybrid. Fast forward to today, how much hybrid do you see in industry events? But I'll come to this in a second as well. So you see that people really understood that the right communication was important, and reaching out, fighting the battle for eyeballs, really, really important. But then more and more data comes into play. So let's turn to the next page, and hopefully we can elaborate on that a bit more. Because when we're looking at data-driven marketing, so what you want to do with the data? What are the actionable things? And actually, how does data marketing then relate to in this new world where purpose-driven and responsible marketing, Wilfried has just mentioned that, is more and more important. You have to show that your individual company is, so to say, part of the solution, part of this. We all have to transition to a world where we do not burden future generations with more and more catastrophic climate, resource, and other technical problems. So marketing therefore shifts from just sort of supporting sales and getting rid of what you have, in a sort of, what does your company stand for? How does your company, and in my particular case, how do banks and financial institutions help clients transition? How much information do you need to actually, first of all, provide to external audiences as they start familiarizing with their various challenges they have? Started from supply chain disruptions, that suddenly the world that was globalized really decoupled in various aspects. And how do we make sure that on the one hand side, we secure the functioning of our companies? On the other side, how do we transition to an economy where not every part of your production chain gets flown half over the world? So how can you nearshore sourcing and the like? And marketing has to play a very important part of that discussion, because it's not about, Wilfried rightly said, very often greenwashing appears as a sort of a general assumption of people trying to say, well, my company does this or that, because we face the issue that there is no globally aligned benchmark of what constitutes sustainable investment, sustainable development. So if you're not very careful and you're not checking with your relatable development of legislation and regulation, you may be very quickly blamed by someone who's saying, well, you're actually painting yourself more greener than you are. So marketing has two problems. It has the problems that we need to scale up the people that they really understand deeply in the company, the ESG, environmental, social, and governance challenges, how the company responds to them, because this is not a marketing topic. This is the way every company operates. Alongside that, coming out of the pandemic, we also have new models of working. So therefore, when you think about what has marketing to deal with, a skills gap in data and data skills. What are we doing with data? How do we action this properly? Secondly, people are now used to different models of work. So how do you, as a team manager, in the past you had your team 5 days a week just outside your desk or in front of your desk, how do you deal with them when half of them are no longer directly with you? How do you create a good team performance? How do you then teach the team the necessary skills that they continue the content marketing, the edutainment marketing, but very much aligned to what is your company's strategy as to showing how much you are either partnering, in our case, clients with transition, and what are you doing to support them, or how do you transition yourself into the new economic environment. And that's why when we're saying the CIM talking about purpose-driven marketing, purpose is no longer just a sort of nice stuff. Just one word on that. It's nice stuff. It's actually, if you do not align your marketing strategy to the purpose of your company, you have a dissonant communication. That's why you need to pay close attention. So next page is the marketing's role in the economic recovery. I've spoken about that, about the sustainable future. How do as marketing leaders, how do you as a marketing team communicate that role? How do you at the same time adapt to changes in the technology and marketing trends? So for instance, we at the recent CIM Financial Service Marketing Leaders Summit discussed the role of AI. AI can be a wonderful tool to help you in your marketing efforts, because it basically distills all the knowledge that's in the web to digestible content. Should you just rely on that and copy paste? Well, that would be a fatal error. So how do you harness the role of AI without thinking, oh, I might be replaced? Well, no, that's definitely not the case, because we all know if a data crawling machine over the internet collects data point and the input is garbage, then the output is garbage. So AI, it will be a very fascinating and helpful tool, but you need to deal with this in a responsible fashion. And also, when, that's my personal view, when you are in a flock of sheep, which means everybody talks about everything, don't just repeat things that are in the web. So AI will give you what's in the web. So if you just continue, then you're another sheep. You just need to put your personal view, your company's view, your lens, your added value information to something that you can maybe research via AI in terms of trends and what's out there. But unless you provide that added value, you just create a contribution to the general chatter, but no distinctive way of communication. So therefore, how do you enhance your marketing delivery in terms of which topics you focus on, what you know about your customer's journey, where are they, where do you need to pick them up, and inform about your stance on certain topics. Again, a data-driven question. When we look at the next page, that's exactly where we are therefore coming to the crunch. Everybody pretty much says we are concerned about skill shortages. How do we either close the gap by hiring people or by training existing people? How can we make sure that we do not project the impression to our own staff like you're no longer that important because I just need a data minus? Not at all. So how do you create the right mix about retaining your staff in the new future of work environment, upskilling your staff, and adding other categories of skills? We discussed in the marketing summit very much about what's the ideal way of hiring the right talent. So it's no longer the traditional way you do the certified marketing route and then you start. Usually you are looking at people from within your company who are subject matter experts, who know the market, the industry deeply, and then train them in marketing skills, content skills, and maybe aside them with journalists who can take their knowledge and put this into content. But you need in your marketing team more and more subject matter experts. And that's exactly where you see here the in-house versus agency dilemma. In-house marketers are more concerned about the skill shortages compared to agencies, and agencies are struggling more with recruitment. So this is now showing there is a massive opportunity for people who've so far never considered marketing as a route of career progression to get into a marketing team with specific skill sets, either with analytics skill sets, i.e. data analytics, or subject matter expert skill sets to foster the content marketing efforts of companies. Because more and more, we see this in the financial service industry, more and more we do no longer use external agencies for what's really key in the marketing delivery, which is the content. Lastly, well, it's actually last but one. This is really just a repetition of what I already said. No? Skill shortages, morale impacted by skill shortages, because I think everyone on this call knows one thing for sure. You have to do more with less. You have to deal with the multi-channel explosion and expectation from senior management that you are on all relevant channels immediately, secure content, in compliance with all your internal regulations and data requirements, with less money and less staff. So that's a huge challenge to all marketeers, because the world has become instant, and whether it's B2C or B2B, the expectation is instant. And that in an environment where more and more people also work from home, that is quite a challenge. And then let's look at the last point, diversity and inclusion as well. You need to make sure that you're not fostering your conscious bias and thinking, I always have to recruit for people who are same like me. Don't, because that will not help, because your customer base is increasingly more diverse. The very last topic before I hand back to you, Ralf, is something that is, I can only describe it here because it's not relevant to me in my marketing, but the fact that regulation is still key, and consumer protection absolutely key. And you see here, when you look at that chart about sort of the regulatory priorities, products that have a damaging impact on the environment, you see a very high percentage of marketers saying we need more regulation on that topic, because ESG is no longer a sort of fashionable topic. It's the way we do business, and you have to credibly protect your consumers from that greenwashing product or service delivery, you have to focus on yourself on being very, very careful, because it can have an immediate damaging impact on your reputation. With that, Ralf, back to you for any questions, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Christoph. If you are in the pub in London at night and you have the third beer in your hand, or the fourth beer, what would be the top things you say, well, this keeps me awake at night? So you have a whole variety of different topics, yeah? Finding right skill sets, sustainability, managing corporate organizational structures with your colleague Tim Alexander in Frankfurt, yada, yada, yada. So the whole enchilada. And what is it really where you say, oh, holy shit, this keeps me awake at night?
Well, speaking in my new additional role, because I've just been given the responsibility also for managing Deutsche Bank's global brand, purely egoistically, I think we as an industry, a banking industry, have a lot of work to do to rebuild trust, because trust comes on foot and rides away on a horse. I speak from a company. I worked for more than 30 years at Deutsche Bank. I was equally shocked, as many others outside my firm, when suddenly in a drip feed it was revealed, well, we had the fingers in every scandal pie that there was, which is really disheartening if you're working in a business that is, the corporate bank business is payments, is risk management, it's supporting the real economy. And it's important that we collectively, whether it's banks or big industrial conglomerates, we all need to work towards showing credibly what our function in the society is. Because one thing, Ralf, that drives me a little bit around is the fact nowadays it just takes one person to throw dirt at you, and suddenly a gazillion people like it, share it, and this kind of. You've seen this in March. Somebody just has to say, I think next to Credit Suisse, Deutsche is going under as well. And suddenly it creates a real threat, which I think doesn't help anyone. And I think we as marketing community, therefore, are more and more challenged with the right formats, to actually educate people. I personally feel there's a lower level of financial literacy across the board. People talk about things they have absolutely no clue about, and this is really disheartening. And I'm sure everyone else here for their companies agrees that there is a very quick trend if somebody says, "Oh, well, they are not the right people," that people quickly like. And if you say something against it, it's almost like you're digging your hole deeper. That's very, very disconcerting, because we need the economy to function in the right way, and we need to wipe out this trend of putting people straight away in a corner and not really researching information properly. Who reads now a 6-page article? Let's challenge all of us. That is a danger in a world that gets increasingly complex.
But basically, you end up in some sort of PowerPoint bullshitting. What you're saying, just looking on headlines. Absolutely agreed. Now, thanks, Christoph. Thanks for your perspectives from Deutsche Bank, from lovely UK. Thanks. And just shifting over to Regimentas. Regimentas, having been elected, I guess, as CMO of the year in Lithuania. Congrats on that. And we are really keen on seeing what you guys are doing. So we had perspectives from Salesforce in Spain, from Christoph, Deutsche Bank in the UK, from Wilfried Wienerberger in Austria, and you're a hot startup working from Lithuania, and also in Germany. I already came across you guys several times, Surfshark. So the name is cool, your perception, your brand management is cool. I do think you've been nominated or have been CMO of the year. Cool. So we expect to get some cool insights also what you guys are doing. Stage is yours.
Appreciate such a kind introduction, and it's really my honor to be, in such a honorable group of people. Some of them much more senior than me in their field. So really, thanks.
Probably we're just older. Not necessarily more senior. We're just older. Let me phrase it that way.
Still humble, I can see. Okay, I'll just share my slides and walk you through what we've been doing lately. So hold with me. Okay, so I hope you can see it.
Yes, we can.
All right, so very short intro, already been kind of introduced by Ralf. So yeah, but I'm CMO at Surfshark, and that's been already 5 years since I'm in this role, actually when the company started. So now the company is 350 people, so we grew quite a lot. Prior to Surfshark, I actually spent 6 years at Google, where basically I think I got all of my digital marketing knowledge and skills. And I think it's still my core competence. And I think we are, digital first, performance first company. And I would also say marketing first company. So we have, I think, a bit different kind of challenges, but I'm going to talk about them in coming slides. So before I start talking about what we've been seeing and what are the trends, I want to just give you a short intro about Surfshark is. So basically, we want to humanize digital security and make it accessible to all. So as a company, we offer a complete consumer cybersecurity suite. We started off as a VPN solution, and VPN is still our main offering, but we also have antivirus, we have data breach alert system, we have private search engine, and we have a new kind of startup within the company, which is called Incogni, which gets to get your personal data off the market from data brokers, because there are a lot of companies which are basically benefiting from trading your data publicly and merging the databases which they have about you. So our goal is to basically make sure that our users' data is protected. So we have 5 products across variety of cybersecurity areas, which basically are all joined by one single mission of protecting all aspects of our users' digital life. So that's a bit about Surfshark and where we are. And now let me talk about cybersecurity market and what we've been seeing. So this is basically the Google Trends report for the last 5 years. And you can see there is still some spikes in the keyword best VPN. So basically, when we know that there is like a demand for a VPN product, most of the people are just typing in best VPN in Google search engine. And we can see some spikes on, of course, COVID lockdown, which started off in March and April of 2020. That's where we saw a surge of searches of VPN demand. And also there's another spiking area, and I'm just calling it, so it's not Ukrainian crisis, we just call it the way it is. It's actually Russian war, unprovoked Russian war in Ukraine, which started off last year, unfortunately. And it also actually boosted the searches for VPN solution. So I think I might come to this conclusion that in the time of global crisis, people turn to security. And it could be physical security or it could be digital security, but we observed that in the last year. And if I would deep dive in a bit more, so in this graph, you can see direct correlation of COVID cases in country and basically the searches for VPN. So basically, we've been in a way benefiting from people locking in their homes and basically working from home, and meaning accessing more sensitive information. So that was kind of the impact which we saw for our business during the COVID. And actually, we saw the opposite direction of when there was relaxation of restrictions. We saw that there was a decrease of demand for VPN services because people were breaking out. And what Christoph just spoke about it, so not too many hybrid events anymore. People are going into, in-person meetings, face-to-face meetings. Therefore, the demand is going down. And we also see that there is like authoritarian states equals to higher demand for cybersecurity. And there are some of the graphs I want to show to illustrate it. So here in red, you can see the countries in the world where there has been internet service disruption done by government at least once. So you can see that is actually, I think, two-thirds of the world countries had this issue of governments trying to censor, certain information and basically blocking the access to the internet. And the same is with restriction to messaging apps. So we saw very recently in Brazil, there was disruption to access, the service like Telegram. Or even, in Turkey, there is a limitation to access Wikipedia nowadays. So basically, we see our mission to actually give access to the people, to the information, to different side of a story, to the truth. And that's why we see that in authoritarian states, there's also has been, unfortunately, a growing demand for cybersecurity products. And yeah, just to basically mention once again what I already talked about. So during the Russian war in Ukraine, there was an increase of VPNs in both countries, both in Russia and in Ukraine. It grew, 5-7-fold than the usual. And same happened in Kazakhstan during the protests. So it's always that's kind of, I think, interesting insights when it comes to our industry. And yeah, generally, since most of the people are using us for the increased security and privacy, that's why actually the last year, which was very turbulent, it was not actually bad for the business of cybersecurity. So that's, I think, some interesting insights on this space. And now let me talk about three ways how we're tackling this opportunity generally in basically in marketing. So first, and already all speakers, I think, touched upon that, this is the power of data in business. So I want to really highlight and share a bit of internal information. So at the moment, we have 22 people in our business intelligence unit, which is 7% from the whole company size, which is, I think, quite big. So I'll just disclose you how we're operating now. So basically, we have a data analytics and data science team, which basically has a standalone sub teams of marketing data, of retention data, and product data. Whereas basically dedicated squad, really deep diving and understanding that part of the funnel. So what we need to do in order to be better in our acquisition field, across the funnel, from top of the funnel to the end of the funnel, how we can be better with retaining, upselling, and cross-selling our users, and basically improving the lifetime value from our user base, and also how we can improve our product, where we're currently lagging, how we could improve our product experience. And on top of that, we have data science, where we basically, on top of analyzing the previous data, we try to project, the potential and forecast how everything could move forward in the future. So we also have data engineering team, which is a separate unit, which is ensuring we have data pipelines fixed for us, and the data is accurate, is representative, it's clear, so we can basically make our business decisions based on the quality of this data. So we have data engineering unit consisting of 10-12 people at the moment. Lastly, we have an experimentation team. So this is a team which is working on conversion rate optimization and basically removing the bottlenecks in the process, in a flow of signing up for our service or actually using our service. And last but not least, we do UX research, where we do both qualitative and quantitative research of our user experience. So I think that is one very important thing that constantly we're hiring more and more people in our business intelligence unit. And a lot of my marketing teams, they would say, we would be happy to swap our headcount, not to basically hire someone in that specific channel, but actually continue building business intelligence unit and basically add more FTEs into business intelligence unit. So I think that's one very important trend for us. Secondly, and already all of the speakers touched upon that, this is the application of AI in marketing. So as we already have a big business intelligence unit, we're actually now developing our AI unit. So this is the actual screenshot from our job opening. So we're already looking for the head. We call it AI engineer, but actually that would be a person which is in a similar role like, chief operational officer. So a person in the company who would really analyze all of our processes across all fields in software development, in marketing, and we try to understand how we could apply AI and boost and make it, more efficient, more effective, both cost effective, but also that we could basically get bigger output in shorter time. So basically, we're already forming a new AI unit, and they're going to be like separate leads looking at, various aspects of our business and trying to understand how it could benefit from AI tools and AI applications. So I think, and on marketing, so there are already a lot of areas which could be improved due to the application of AI, and we're already utilizing it in AI generated content. That is something which we already do for our social media, basically blog, and for our SEO efforts. We do the propensity modeling, so basically all of the forecast forecasting for all the seasonalities and performance in certain countries. We also use AI for that, and we use chatbot to basically optimize our customer service costs. And yeah, marketing automation and dynamic content emails. So these are the areas where Surfshark directly applying AI. And I think this is only the beginning. And in upcoming 2 or 3 months, we hope to have really a full functioning AI unit. And we want to utilize more ways of AI in the way we work. And last but not least, I want to maybe really highlight on one specific channel, which has been very, very significant for our growth, and that is influencer marketing. So just a short business case study before I finish. So in the last 4 years, we have launched influencer marketing in more than 100 of countries of the world. So we released 26,000 content units, which cumulatively got 4 billion views. And we don't do it as a branding effort. We do it as a performance marketing. And just one example of that is, so basically when China imposed, restricted security legislation in Hong Kong, trying to basically swallow the Hong Kong as an independent state earlier than it should be. And basically we reacted quite fast, and we worked with hundreds of influencers in Hong Kong to basically explain that Surfshark can help to protect their anonymity and security, so that the authoritarian state cannot track, their activity online. And I think why influencer marketing is so important, because in my opinion, in difference with other marketing channels, it covers the whole user funnel, from explaining the problem to the users to explaining why Surfshark could be a good solution for them, and actually closing the sales all within single video integration. And here in the bottom, you can see that other channels, in my opinion, cover just certain part of the funnel, but not the whole part, not the whole journey. And once again, when we talk about YouTube, it's not about reach, or it's not about views. It's about link clicks. It's about how many people use the coupon, which is provided in the video, so we can directly attribute and track that that was basically influencer who referred that user to us. So this is the time on web, the CTR, the CR, return on investment, comment sentiment, and halo effect in other channels. So we recognize that influencer channel really gives a huge boost in other channels, in how many people are later Googling for our brand name. So I just really want to pop it and highlight this application. So just to summarize, so all things data. So we're going to continue building our data team, AI unit and AI application in everyday work. And finally, the influencer marketing. So I really want to highlight this as one of the channels, which was very significant in our growth and success of Surfshark.
Thanks, Regimantas. The fascinating thing for me, at least, is you've been combining a whole bunch of different digital tools with AI, with influencer marketing. I expected everything, but not influencer marketing, quite honestly, from all the things you've been describing. So how does it come that you say influencer marketing? Did you test it out and say, we need to combine classical or innovative digital marketing and AI then with influencer marketing because it works the best? Or what was the logic behind?
Well, basically, so I wouldn't merge these two topics separately. So I just wanted to mention influencer marketing as one of the biggest, I think, discoveries for our company, because this is the fastest growing channel for our user acquisition and for our brand growth. So I think we were able to utilize it as a performance marketing channel. And I think that changes perception of how many other companies are seeing it as a way to expand their TV advertising reach, or just basically calculate the impressions. But we use it as a performance marketing channel, and we do that very successfully across half of the countries in the world. And basically we're building that team, we're strengthening, we're adding more and more. So we started off mostly with YouTube, but we're doing that successfully with Instagram. We're doing that on the Twitch platform with game streaming. So we find new ways to engage these audiences. And I think we find it very hard to justify us spending any money on TV advertising, because we cannot see impact and we cannot measure it on so many aspects as we do it with influencer marketing. So that's why I just wanted to share from a startup world the channels which I think are very, very important for us.
Cool. Just trying to understand. So we had different perspectives this morning, really, coming from Christoph, from Deutsche Bank, from Wilfried, from Wienerberger and stuff like that. So basically, that's the reason why we're pretty happy all to have you with us. Yeah? Completely different perspectives in different industry segments. And the issue is, what is it from Surfshark you guys might learn from more incumbent players? Since you're a startup, you're extremely successful, and we had some sort of brick and mortar companies. Then on the other cases, what is it? Is it making your brand more perceptive across Europe, or what is it? Is a major point where you say, well, we would also like to learn something from more incumbent players?
Yeah, so this is absolutely, in one answer, that would be offline advertising. So we're like digital natives. So we feel very, we feel very comfortable in navigating through the, through the digital channels, but like building brands, utilizing offline channels, utilizing TV, that is a big challenge for me, so I don't need to do this digital transformation from being a traditional and becoming digital. I need to do the opposite transformation. I try to understand if utilizing offline channels could help me to reach new audiences, which I'm maybe limited with using digital channels only. So that would be, I think, the key goal for me.
Yeah, so thanks, Ralf. Thanks for sharing. It's an amazing story, an amazing case study, in particular how you're combining different elements in the digital world and all the building up in an own AI unit. How difficult is it for you to find the right skill set, the right people? Are they all, because Surfshark, you are a crazy company, you are cool, you are fancy, as people just run into your doors? Or it's always yes, you're trying to scale up, but finding the right mindset. Yeah, it's not just like some sort of guys who might have the right skill set but do not fit to your company. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I think we're very lucky. I think we can call Baltics the new Israel. We have a lot of entrepreneur people and people which don't want to work in all the industries. So we want to have a global impact. So our labor is very skilled because everyone speaks, a few foreign languages. Because as a small market, we've never been focused on domestic market. We always knew that Lithuania is too small for us, and that's why everyone in Lithuania is thinking how to be competitive globally. And that's why we have a lot of talented people, mostly in their 20s, and they're able to contribute to that. So I think ecosystem is growing. And as we're seeing, the first unicorns in Baltics, there are more and more young people who want to be working in startup, although it might be more risky and they're like less of a benefits in the beginning, but it could be bigger benefit and bigger payout later on. So I think there are more risk-aware people, and that's why we succeed to attract, young talent. But also, Lithuania is not big enough for us. So we opened up offices in Warsaw, in Poland, and we even have office in Berlin. So we also basically now hire talent even in Germany.
Cool. Regimantas, thank you very much. Thanks for the inspiring presentation. Thank you very much. And I hope you will share some sort of further thoughts with me. Next week, I'm going to be in Vilnius with you on the Lithuanian Marketing Day. So we both going to have some sort of old stuff, non-digital beer or glass of wine with each other. So nothing digital, more handsome glass of beer and talk about the things further on. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Looking forward to welcome.
Thank you. So I'm just wrapping up. So thanks for all the presenters and all the case studies and the contribution. What we heard from Regimantas is really combining digital world with influencer marketing. From Wilfried, we heard from Wienerberger and everything around building up sustainability and building up know-how and managing know-how skills, plus also focusing on brand management, as Christoph said, re-establishing trust basically on a global level. And from Lorena, from Spain, there's a permanent change using tools, modern tools, and how to get them best implemented. So saying this, all this as we've been running out of time, a big thank you again, Christoph, Wilfried, Regimantas, and Lorena, who unfortunately already left us. Thanks for joining. Thanks for chipping in. And if there's any further questions, please do not hesitate to touch base with us. More than happy to discuss. on behalf of the European Marketing Confederation, thank you very much. Have a fantastic day, and we will continue this sort of series, always picking up topics out of the European marketing agenda. Thank you very much, and have a successful day, and hopefully many inspirations for your professional life. Thank you very much. Thanks, and bye-bye.
Same to you, Ralf. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, bye-bye.
Thank you all, guys. Nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.
All right, Ralf from the headquarter. We don't have any burning questions right now, so I think we had a great session, a nice wrap-up as well. Very varying points of view on the market from really different industries. So that's I'm really looking forward to share this with all the people. So for all the viewers, we will share all the presentations as well on the video later. So after the stream is ended, I'll make sure all the presentations are linked in there so you can rewatch them. And if you have any further questions, please send all your requests to info@emc.be. That is Bravo Echo for Belgium. And I would like to give the final word to Ralf.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis, and to you for the organization of this webinar. Thanks again to all speakers, and I'm just amazed at completely different perspectives from Christoph from Deutsche Bank, or from Wilfried from Wienerberger, or Ricky Mantas from Lithuania. Amazing perspectives, and which makes also quite honestly fun for me. We do the survey, we do the investigation, we write the European marketing agenda as a report, and then really understanding from completely different companies, different industry setups, how they are dealing with those challenges and what their specific challenges are. So thanks, Dennis and Martin, for the organization, which was amazing. And as the feedback already demonstrates, we should continue working in this sort of direction. Thanks, Dennis, also to you, and thanks again to all the speakers.
Thank you, Ralf, and have a wonderful day. And
Thanks.
thank you for all the viewers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.